Ranking the 2023-24 Championship season, we've got Dom here, obviously. We're going to go from 21st, 24th, all the way to 1st, and we're each going to talk about a team that we think where they're going to be. I don't know his prediction. He doesn't know mine. Let's just get straight into things. 24th, I've gone with QPR. Ainsworth isn't exactly putting much faith in the team and for them to stay up. For me, rock bottom. I don't really think much needs to be said as to why. Maybe they'll survive. There's definitely a chance. But if anyone's going to go down to say this early, it is them. Dom?
Yeah, in my opinion, 24th is absolutely nailed on Sheffield at the minute. Changing their manager when he just got them promoted in the most dramatic fashion just ruined all the momentum. Their recruitment's been really poor. Reece James from Blackpool, who they had on loan last season, is pretty much their main signing. It's just not enough. I think they're absolutely nailed on relegated.
I disagree. I think there's hope for Sheffield, and in 23rd I've gone with Rotherham. Someone's got to go in the relegation zone. I don't have a reason. I genuinely don't, but it's a prediction at the end of the day. So Rotherham, you're gone. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I do agree with QPR, but I just haven't got them rock bottom. 23rd. Ainsworth's team, it's just not an Ainsworth team. He's just more so to have an Akinfenwa up front and being in League One, and he just doesn't have that. Players like Elias Chair, Chris Willock, they're just not his type of players, and I think they're absolutely nailed on for relegation, to be honest, which is a shame.
Yeah, in 22nd, again, no real reason, but someone has got to go down, so we're going with Cardiff. Cardiff City, those are my three relegated: Cardiff, Rotherham and QPR. Dom?
Yeah, I've got another promoted team to go down in Plymouth Argyle. I'm just not convinced by the recruitment. They've got a good manager in Schumacher, but they've only really re-signed players that they had on loan, like Azaz, Whitaker and Mumba, which is just not enough. You need to actually improve the team, whereas at the minute it's pretty much just the same. And I've got them down, unfortunately.
Nah, I've got them to scrape relegation. They'll be in a relegation fight, and I've got Plymouth in 21st. For me, yeah, again, I don't think they have the strength to really do anything in the league, but getting relegated, I don't see it happening. I think maybe definitely scraping away from it, relegation battle, but I think they'll be fine. So that's 21st for Plymouth. So
yeah, 21st.
Love you, though.
Just surviving the drop for me. Rotherham once again, and this is a massively important season. I think if they stay up this season, they can kick on and actually establish themselves. But they haven't really done that much recruitment. They signed like Cafu, but they've just got an unreal keeper in Johansson. I think it's going to be enough. I think there will be 3 teams worse, and Rotherham will avoid the yo-yo again.
I think they're gone. And 20th, I have Birmingham. Now, a bit controversial. I think there's a chance they have a good season. Don't get me wrong, but they're not going to. So 20th, right. I've got Birmingham. At least they're staying up, right? That's really, if you told a Birmingham fan if you told a Birmingham fan right now you could skip a season and you'd stay in the Championship, they'd just say yeah. So
maybe. 20th, I've got Cardiff. I think they've had an unreal window for being in an embargo. Brought in Ramsey, Colin Grant, Josh Bowler, Matey. I just don't know. I think they've got the players, but who is Bulu, the manager? Who is that? He's never managed in this country before. I think he'll just survive, but I suppose you take 20th as a Cardiff fan because people have you going down. So
it's not bad. And then in 19th, this is where I've got Sheffield. I think they'll be in a relegation zone. I think they'll be in the relegation zone throughout the season, and then I think a little bit of an escape at the end. But I don't see them going down. I think once they've gotten into the Championship, if they go down again, that is going to be devastating. And to be honest, I really don't want to see it happen. So I want them to stay in the Championship. So I'm putting them 19th. This list is more based on my feelings towards these clubs, maybe, than anything, because I don't know, it's a prediction. Anything can happen. So I'm having Sheffield 19th.
Yeah, 19th, just surviving. Huddersfield, I think it's all Warnock, to be honest. I think he'll stay, and he's already staying. I think he'll be there the whole season. And he himself is enough to keep him up. I think Jack Radoni is going to shine this season. Their recruitment's now special. Edwards from Stoke and Maxwell, but I think it's going to be enough to stay up, which I think they'll absolutely take, to be fair. So, yeah.
Yeah, and in 18th for me, I have Huddersfield. Same reasons as Dom, but I think they'll definitely do better than last season. Warnock is a good manager, but I still don't think the squad is anywhere near that playoff area. But I think they'll be around maybe 18th, 17th, pushing up to maybe like 13th, but I don't see them dropping anywhere below that or above that, really.
No. 18th, which is probably my boldest shout of the video coming up right now. Watford, 18th place. People are backing them for playoffs, and I just don't know what they want. It's a disaster.
I don't see them playoffs at all.
It's ridiculous. they've lost so many players. San Pedro being the main. They've brought in Jamal Lewis, Jake Livermore, Tommins, and Chuck Vitadze. Like, just not convinced at all. They'll end up sacking Ismail inevitably, and I think it's going to fall apart. 18th place, awful for Watford.
Yeah, I don't mind that shout. But in my 17th place, I've gone with, this is controversial now, I know. But everyone sees this. Last year, everyone was saying this club would do unbelievable. They did alright. Nowhere near, well, they were quite near playoffs towards the end. But anyway, I've got 17th Swansea. I'm sorry, I just again, another season of like them. They could be anywhere from 10th to 20th in my opinion, but I don't see them pushing anywhere near the playoffs, and I don't see them pushing for relegation. So I've just got them in and about, maybe a bit low, but 17th.
Yeah, in 17th, to be fair, I've got possibly a rogue shout, but I've gone with Blackburn. Nowhere near the playoffs this season, massive fall off. I think Thomason will leave. I think he will leave probably just as soon as a decent job comes up. They've obviously lost Diaz, which is a really hard player to replace, and Niall Ennis is their only true proper signing, and I'm just not convinced. I think it's going to be a really poor season for Blackburn.
Yeah, I don't mind the Blackburn shout. But in 16th, this is where I have Watford. Again, I can see them being 10th. I could see them being 20th, but I cannot see them being anywhere near that relegation zone. I can't see them being anywhere near the playoffs. For me, this is just that group of teams that sit fully in the mid-table throughout the whole season, and Watford's going to be one of them. I don't see them pushing for anything, personally.
In 16th, quite a boring pick, just screams mid-table championship. Preston North End. Obviously, they had a push for playoffs towards the end of last season, but it all depends on if Tom Cannon goes there. They're currently the front runners. I think if he goes there, could knock them out maybe 12th, but it's just going to be a boring season once again for Preston. I think.
Yeah, where am I up to? 15th now. 15th, and I know Dom has these a little bit higher than this, but I think this is fair. 15th, I've gone with Hull. I can definitely see them. Now, this team, I could see them maybe somehow pushing for playoffs. And I understand a few people are saying that. But I've got them 15th. Maybe a little bit unfair to them, but you wouldn't really complain. Yeah. It's not awful. It's nowhere near relegation. So yeah, 15th.
15th, I've gone with Birmingham. I think you're being very harsh on them. I think they're finally going to get out of this 8-year rut of not being able to get above 17th. Their recruitment's been fantastic since the takeover. Laird and Dembele are probably my two favourite signings of them all. And I think Eustace is a very good manager, and I think this is the start of Birmingham heading towards that Premier League. I think it might take a long time, but I think it's the start. This is where the upwards trajectory starts.
This gets said every year, so take it with a pinch of salt. And 14th, I'm having Blackburn. Blackburn, for me, I could see them getting playoffs again, but they are definitely weaker than they were last year. They fell off tremendously towards the back end of last season, so there's no reason why that form doesn't continue, and they just continue to be worse. So 14th, I think, is fair. I've not got them too low down, but they're definitely a worse team than they were last year. We've got one of the players, but still 14th.
Yeah, it's fair enough, to be fair. But 14th, Bristol City. I think it all just depends on if Alex Scott is there come the end of the window. But if he's left, then they're going to have 25. They're going to have 25 million to invest if he leaves, and if he stays, then they've got an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
I think Tommy Conway is going to absolutely shine this season. I think these eventually will start pushing for playoffs, but I think it may be one more season away from that.
Yeah,
but it's 14th decent.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then 13th, I've actually got Preston North End. Again, I'm pretty sure they finished around here last season. People were saying that they were going to get playoffs because they were literally they barely let any goals in. They were scraping wins. It looked like a proper playoff charge, but they fell short, and I think they'll fall short again. 13th place.
Yeah. 13th, the most overrated team in the league coming into this season, Ipswich. Honestly, they started off being a very good underdog, dark horse shout, and now they're like fourth favourites to get promoted, and I just don't understand where this is coming from. I think they've got an unreal manager, and I think the momentum from winning the league, doing well towards the end of the season, will get them mid-table, but playoffs and promotion, I'm bored of hearing it. No chance, in my opinion.
Not going to like where I've got Ipswich, but in 12th, this is where I have Bristol City. From 12th to, 6th, obviously all going to be in the playoff charge, and I think Bristol City will be in and about that. I don't think they'll get it, obviously putting them in 12th, but I think they're more likely to keep Alex Scott. I don't think they'll be complaining about that. It's better than last year, and I think they're definitely going to be pushing for playoffs. I just don't think they'll get it, really.
Yeah, 12th, I've got my West Brom. I think they've got the squad to be doing a lot better than this, but they're just the behind the scenes stuff's absolutely all over the place. Obviously, they've got an unreal manager in Corberan, which he should have got them in last season if it went for Steve Bruce. But they've only really brought in Sarmiento and Madjo, which are good signings, but I just don't think it's enough. Lost Darragh O'Shea. I think it's just going to be a mid-table season, which they just need to get taken over so they can push back to being the Premier League team.
Right, 11th. They're going to be happy about this. I've got Stoke City. Definitely better than where they were last year. I think they will push for playoffs here. I don't think they'll really get it. I don't think they'll even get into playoffs like at all during the season. But I think they'll be in and about it. So for me, 11th for Stoke City. I don't think they'll be complaining about that after the horrific season last year.
No, I completely agree. Stoke in 11th. I think they've had an unbelievable window, and I do think this is the start of a long-term project of heading back to the Prem. They've got a great manager, in my opinion, in Alex Neil, even though he did leave us. But I do rate them. And I think this is the start of Stoke getting back to where they belong. But again, people say this every season. They'd have a good window every season. But I think 11th will absolutely take.
Yeah, you definitely do. And in 10th, a team that probably doesn't want this position, definitely wants to be back in the Prem, and it is Norwich. I've got them in 10th place. For me, I think another lacklustre season, really. A lot of people expected them and Watford to get automatics. Norwich, for me, going to do better than Watford next year, but I still don't see them getting in the playoffs, and I think 10th is in and about where they're going to finish, really. So 10th place for me.
Yep, I've also got Norwich in 10th place. I think they've got a great manager in Smith. I think he's good enough to get a team back into the Premier League, as he's done it before with Villa. I like the signings of Barnes and Duffy, very experienced, but I just think the youth teams above them who are just much more exciting are just going to jump ahead of them, to be honest. And probably they'll get in the playoffs next season, but not this season.
Right, and in 9th place, I've got Ipswich Town. I know people are saying, like that people are, saying they're going to do better than they are. People are saying that they're like going to finish 4th or whatever it is. But for me, I genuinely do think they are going to have a good season. They did extremely well last year in League One. And League One, the jump from the top of League One to the bottom of the Championship, I think it's not at all a jump. I think the top of League One is better than the bottom of the Championship in many cases. Yeah. And I think Ipswich is definitely one of them. They were one of the best League One teams that you've seen, really, in a long time. And for me, I definitely think they're going to be finishing anywhere from 9th to like 14th. And we finished 6th after like being in the playoffs. So it's not as if we did anything, tremendous in League One. But they've done something like a lot better. And it's not like it's Wigan or anyone, a team that you'd think would finish 24th or 23rd. It's Ipswich. They're a big team. They did phenomenal last season, I think. They can get anywhere from like 6th to 12th, really. So I've got them in 9th. Yeah.
I think we've raised the bar for promoted sides, genuinely. Like, I think no one would be predicting this if we didn't get into 6th. But anyway, moving on to is a 9th, Hull. I think Hull are going to do fantastically. They've got probably my dark horse for the season. Looking at who I've put above them are kind of all expected. I think Liam Rosenia is an absolutely fantastic manager. I think they need to recruit a little bit better in the next couple of weeks, but Delap, Vinagre and Connolly, the decent additions. I think they've got the good foundations. At the end of the season strongly, so I'm backing Hull to be my dark horse in 9th.
I don't mind that. I have got them in 15th, but still. 8th, I've got West Brom. Good manager, good squad. I think they'll do exactly what they did last year, which is battle for playoffs throughout the whole thing and just fall short. But yeah. I think you take 8th as a West Brom fan, especially with everything going on. So yeah, I think 8th placed, and I don't think they'll mind that.
8th, I've got a team who you have absolutely disrespected ridiculously. Swansea City, definitely a playoff push. They were by far the most informed team in the league towards the end of the season. They were like 500 points off and ended up in the race. I don't know what happened. They've obviously lost Russell Martin and Ryan Manning, but Michael Duff's a great manager. Jerry Yates is a great striker, and if they can keep Piro, then I think they probably will contend for playoffs very strongly. But we'll just have to wait and see. Right. I think they're going to do very well.
In 7th for me, they're going to hate us. They're definitely going to be angry in the comments, but it's just falling short of playoffs, and it is Coventry City. I understand that you were in the playoff final last year, but talk to Huddersfield about that one. It doesn't necessarily matter. So for me, I've gone 7th Coventry. The league's gotten harder. I know they're not going to be happy because Sunderland hasn't been mentioned so far, but 7th Coventry, I think they'll fall short, but I definitely think they'll be there throughout the season. I just think maybe they'll fall short, but then again, putting them in 7th, if they finish 6th, it's not exactly like I've made a horrific prediction.
Yeah, in 7th, once again, agony for Millwall, in my opinion. I think they've got a great team, but the standard of this league just keeps getting better, and I think they're going to just miss out again. Fleming and Bradshaw, absolutely fantastic players. I think Gary Rowett is a fantastic manager. Kevin Nisbet is a signing that I like as well, but I think there's just 6 better teams in the league this season. It's just agony for them once again because they do just keep missing out, which is a shame.
Yeah, I disagree. But in 6th, I have a team that everyone's seeing is going to win the league or finish 2nd, and it is Southampton. I don't know why I've got them 6th. I just genuinely have a feeling that they're going to get playoffs but not automatics. I do have all 3 promoted teams or relegated teams in the playoffs or automatics. But yeah, I think they'll do the worst. Everyone's saying Leeds to do the worst. I think Southampton last year were by far the worst Prem team, obviously. The standings doesn't lie, and I know that's not necessarily how it works, but for me, I don't think they've done enough to strengthen the squad ridiculously. If you have a look at Leicester, their squad is outrageous, and even Leeds, to be honest, it's definitely better than a lot of Championship sides. But Southampton I've gone with 6th, and also my playoff winner it is not Southampton. So put it that way.
In 6th, making the playoffs once again, is Coventry City for me. Technically a fall off, but really it's not. I think Mark Robbins is a fantastic manager. I can't take them falling off still that much. Gustavo Hiem is still there, so that's all they need basically. However, I think they're going to have to massively change their play style if they want to suit Ellis Sims. He's just a completely different player, Gyökeres. Gyökeres was a give it to him and he does all the work. Sims is just a goal scorer. But if they can fit their team to play to Ellis Sims' strength, then I think they'll be definitely fine to make the playoffs once again, which they'll definitely take.
I've got 5th. And I've realised now that what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have Southampton in 5th. A little change here, because my playoff final needs to match up together. So I'm having Southampton in 5th and Sunderland in 6th. So I did have Sunderland in 5th, but I'm having Sunderland in 6th, and then I'll talk about my playoffs in a bit. But yeah, Sunderland, I'm having 6th place. I think, look at the recruitment, we've definitely bettered, you could say, than what we have last year. I know we've lost Amad Diallo, but we've brought in 5, we have done loads more signings than everybody else. It would seem that way. Maybe it's just because I only look at the Sunderland signings. But even Bradley Dack, I know he's 29, but he's still a phenomenal player. I think every single person we're getting here is definitely making the squad better. So, really, and we've got a good manager as well. So I could see us getting higher than this, but I'm putting us 6th, just getting into playoffs.
That's fair enough. So 5th place for me, the first of the relegated teams. Leeds, I think they need to be spending more money. They're not doing enough in the transfer market, in my opinion, to be pushing for those automatic spots. I think they've got a fantastic manager in Daniel Farke, loves this league. He's won it the last 2 times he's been here. But I do still think there's people who are going to leave. Nanto, Somerville, what's the other one? Sinisterra. I think one of them's going to end up leaving, but I think the manager, they've still got the foundations of a great squad. I think they'll be fine, and I think they'll make the playoffs, but maybe not promotion for Leeds.
Yeah, I've got 4th, not Leeds. I've got Millwall. Now that means that Millwall and Southampton play each other in the semi-final of the playoffs, and I'm going to have Millwall to win that. So Millwall are my first finalist of the playoff. So yeah, 4th I've got in Millwall. For me, I think they're going to do it this year when it comes to getting into the playoffs. And then we'll see playoff final. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I want to see someone different again in the Prem. But I think Millwall, every single year, they're there. They just always fall short. And I think they deserve it, to be honest. So yeah, 4th Millwall.
That's fair enough. 4th in the exact same place as last season, Middlesbrough. I'm seeing way too many people batting them for autos, but I think they've lost too many players who they had on loan who they haven't replaced. Obviously, Cameron Archer, you cannot replace. Similar with us with Diallo. you cannot replace him unless you get the player back. And Ryan Giles was fantastic. So was Aaron Ramsey. I think they've got a lot of recruitment still to be done. But Michael Carrick's a fantastic manager. They've still got Akpom, still got Hackney. They've got a great team, and I think they'll definitely take fourth again. But I just can't say these auto shouts. I kind of get behind them, to be honest.
Yeah, and in third, I've actually got Leeds United. So that means that Leeds play Southampton in my semi-final. No,
they play us.
Yeah, they play. Yeah, they play us, and we beat Sunderland. Right, I've got it written.
We beat Sunderland.
I mean, right, Sunderland beat Leeds in the semi-final, and then Millwall beat Southampton in the semi-final, and it's us versus Millwall in the final of the playoffs, which we will lose, and Millwall go up in the Prem. So yeah. Third, I've got Leeds, and they'll be in. They'll get knocked out the playoff semis. There you go.
Right. Third place, I've got Sunderland. Obviously, I'll probably hear some delusional comments heading my way, but so many people are backing us for playoffs and autos. I feel like I can't even be called biased for this one, and I got it right last season when I called us sixth anyway. But obviously, I understand we've lost Diallo, so you can definitely argue that we've downgraded, especially if we lose Stewart as well. But even if we just have the same team as last year, but completely fit, we've improved. People don't understand how bad the injury crisis was last season, but brought in some fantastic players. Bradley Dack in his prime was fantastic. Luis Semedo is going to score bags and bags of goals, and we've sorted out the height problem, bringing in 3 tall players in Sales, Bellingham and Triantis. I think we're going to be fine this season, and I think if we can get Diallo, we'll win the league. But we haven't got Diallo yet, so I'm not going to back us to win the league. Yeah. But I really do think we'll win the league if we get Diallo. But third, which I'd be absolutely buzzing with, it's safe to say.
Right, second, I did have a team. I'm going to do my second and first now. But second, I'm actually going to change my mind to Leicester City. I had them to win the league, but for me, I'm having Borough to win the league. Because we're going for rogue shouts here. There's no real reason for it. Leicester on paper are better than Borough. But nobody thought Burnley would do what they did last year, so I'm calling Borough to be this year's Burnley, and I'm having Leicester in second and Borough to win the league.
I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Second, I've got Southampton. I think they've got a team that's just way too good for this league, like most of the relegated sides. They've got a great manager in Russell Martin, and he's brought in players from Swansea like Ryan Mann, and they might be getting Joel Perrault, which, if they get Perrault, they might win the league. And as it stands, Ward-Prowse is still a Southampton player. If he can be there come the start of the season, then it's just an absolute joke for this league. But Southampton to go straight back up, and then our champions, the obvious pick is Leicester City. Enzo Maresca is such an exciting manager. I mean, being under Pep Guardiola, you must be a decent coach to be working under Pep Guardiola. It's as simple as that. And we saw what Mikel Arteta has gone and done after working under Pep, and Maresca's come to the Championship. And I'm a huge fan of the signings. Cody and Doyle just makes the defence an absolute joke. And Harry Winks, should he be in the Championship? Absolutely not. Steffi Mavididi, unbelievable signing. I'm saying that even though all I know is that he got a moment's card on FIFA, to be honest, but people are saying it's an unreal signing. I'm going to back it. They've got 3 unreal strikers in Iheanacho, Vardy and Daka, and I just think they're going to absolutely walk the league. I think they're going to absolutely walk the league once. It's just a joke.
I definitely think Leicester are the favourites, but only time will tell. Let me know if where we put your club and whether you're happy to be there or not, and that's basically it.
Yep.
I didn't put any thought into this, so don't kill us.
I did.
I might as well have just randomly put the teams on there. It's just, that's how I do predictions. It's all a guess at the end of the day. It's never going to come true. And if this does come true, I'll actually be kicking myself anyway, because if I put a 5 on it, I'd have been a millionaire. So it is what it is. But yeah.
I'll pick my playoff winner before we end.
Oh yeah,
I'm obviously picking Sunderland. Sunderland to beat Coventry in the semi-finals, and then Borough to beat Leeds. Sunderland Borough final, which is what we all absolutely dreamed of last season, which never happened. And I mean, this is totally us winning the playoffs is a total bias pick, but I'm backing us to win the playoffs. I think we're good enough, and especially, I mean, we're linked with Colin Dagba. If we can bring in Dagba and Diallo, honestly, the league is in trouble. But let's just say, I'm so excited.
Fair enough. Right, that's the video. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all later. Have a fantastic day.
Yep.